Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of the Nerdic Pro podcast. How are you all doing this evening? My name is, as per usual, Bobby effing Salastar, and welcome back to the Nerdic Pro podcast here on YouTube, and welcome to episode of the week number 105 and 185 of Nerdic Pro Weekly. Some of you may be a bit confused into why we're changing platform from Facebook to YouTube full time. That is because, for those of you that don't know, Facebook have made, or Meta have now made the decision to delete Facebook Live videos older than 30 days as of the end of this month. I've thankfully managed to extend ours until the 30th of August, so that gives us a little bit more time to try and find a solution into how we save all the podcasts, over 300 podcasts that we've done live on Facebook, whether or not we can somehow keep them on our Facebook page or download them somehow and upload them onto here. Bearing in mind there are over 300 of them, so it's got to take a long fucking time and a lot of work and what have you, and like a lot of patience as well, which especially recently, patience isn't really something that I've really got like a lot of, but so we've got until the 30th of August to get everything sorted. I can download the podcasts into, I think, like a dozen different files and what have you. But what I then do, it's going to take like a lot of storage and what have you. So I'm probably going to need to invest in some sort of laptop or a phone or a few phones or whatever, just to, try and salvage all the podcasts, the 300 plus on Facebook, because, the Nerdic Pro has literally been a podcast over 4 years now. I've been podcasting for 5. The Nerdic Pro has been about for 4. Literally, next Thursday will be the 4th birthday of the Nerdic Pro podcast, and we've literally, myself, Richie, especially recently, Stuart, Tommy, Ian, and Justin, who's just recently joined us, and everyone else who's been on the podcast previously, who've been a part of the team of the Nerdic Pro podcast, who unfortunately ain't a part of the team anymore, to go off and do other things, and especially someone who I've had to remove recently for his actions towards certain people. We've literally put in, there is literally hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of hours worth of podcasting content on the Nerdic Pro podcast. This goes from the mini podcasts that Tommy's done on the Nerdic Pro podcast, going on about football and speedway and everything. The Footy Mayhem series that keeps fucking popping up every now and again. The gaming review series, Nerdic Pro Weekly, which there's now 185 episodes of. The predictions, the reactions, the reviews, this, that, and the other. There's literally hundreds upon hundreds of hours just podcast, literally over WrestleMania weekend, the Friday, Saturday, and the Sunday. So this year's Mania, we did over 14 hours worth of podcasts in 3 days. Right, over 14 hours in 3 days. Right. So this was predicted Mania, SmackDown reactions, WrestleMania Night 1 reactions, WrestleMania Night 2 reactions. over 14 hours worth of podcasts in 3 days. That's just Mania this year. That's just, what, 4 podcasts, I believe? And then the amount of others we've done, and like the interviews on top of that, where wrestlers and bands and all that have come on. All the backstage bits and pieces I've done. Yeah, they only last for like a couple of minutes, like the backstage bits and pieces at shows. But even then, they contribute to times, like the accumulation of times and what have you. Like the actual proper podcast interviews. I can't even fucking tell you how many like interviews we've done over the course of 4 years. Having people such as the professional Nathan Cruz, Brett Semtex, Smashing Mike, CW Davis, Jimmy Starr, Marty Jones. Who else fucking come on? Reggie Leonard, Mitch Basher, bloody hell, who else? Obviously, there's a shitload more. Aaron Sharp, Mr. Brees, James Bentley, Craig McIntosh, going into 2023 now. I can't even fucking think off the top of my head. Who to start off? Arcadius, Demolition Dave Davis, Hot Stuff, the UK Pitbulls, Steve Linsky, CJ Banks, Mr. Lee, Mikey Andrews. That's 20 interviews at least just there. That have all lasted like at least an hour. Fucking who else? Bloody 2023. I honestly can't even fucking think off the top of my head. I really can't. Obviously CJ Banks. I can't even say. More recently, over the past sort of year, we've had former 3-time NWA National Heavyweight Champion, former 2-time AWF World Champion, the Golden Boy Greg Anthony, current NWA star Brian Idol, the one half of the Looks That Kill, tag team with Natalia Markova. He's been on. And yeah, countless others, and we've had again a couple of Twitch streamers on about a year ago, Dizzy and Tiny online, and then groups like Celestial, they've been on twice, as well as a little mini sort of pre-gig interview with Richie, Metal to the Masses East Anglia, about a week or two ago in the semi-finals over in Norwich. Who else? If anyone's watching this and you've been on the podcast before and I've not mentioned your name yet, I do apologise. There's just been so many people. Barrett Brown, former NWA Junior Heavyweight Champion. He was actually the last ever NWA Junior Heavyweight Champion when Billy Corgan took over the NWA, completely scrapped everything. As seen in New Japan Pro Wrestling as well, as seen in WWE. Barrett Brown, he was the leader of the Stray Dog Army in New Japan over the COVID era of New Japan and what have you. Who else? Rick Diesel, Matt Classic, James Harris, who's coming back on the Nerdic Pro in September. Justin Summers, who's now a part of the Nerdic Pro team. He's the co-owner of Island Pro Wrestling on Prince Edward Island in Canada. So IPW Canada, go check them out. Again, I can't even think. Case and Riley, Marco Marinelli, they've both been on. Adam Paris, the promoter of CXW, CPWE's been on. Geordie Walker, yeah, tons of people, fucking tons of people, and yeah, again, the reactions, we've done Rumble, we've done the Royal Rumble, we've done Manias, since the Nerdic Pro's been about, every single year there have been live reactions to at least every single Mania. There's been this year reacted to the Rumble, myself, Ashley, and Devon. And then obviously Mania this year, quite a few of us, me, Richie, Ben, Ashley, Devon. Richie was watching it, but he wasn't on the podcast, reacting to it with us. Don't know what the fuck Stuart was doing. But yeah, Nerdic Pro General Manager Stuart. But yeah, it's fucking tons of people have been on over the years, and yeah, it's annoying, because it's not just what you see us doing on the podcasts. There's planning that goes into them. I have actually fucking got notes here, multiple pages worth of notes. Right? When have you ever known me to come to a fucking podcast prepared with notes? Right? 5 years I've been doing this. I think I can literally count on one hand the amount of bloody podcasts that haven't been interviews where I've actually come prepared with notes. Right? Not even on one hand, less than that. And yeah, it's insane. It really fucking is. But yeah, trying to think who else. West Danger made a cameo appearance a couple of years ago. Bloody who else? Ben Hampton, Gareth Angel, Paul Tyrrell, SOS. Loads of people, loads of other people have fucking come on. And yeah, then obviously the guys at Nova Status, they're a Peterborough-based band, and yeah, that we become quite friendly with through our friendship with Celestial, and then obviously with Richie going to the Metal to the Masses, and what have you, and yeah, so loads of people have been on, for interviews and what have you. And again, if anyone's watching this who's actually been on the podcast previously and I've not mentioned you, again, I do apologise. It's 4 years worth of fucking interviews and all that. You tend to forget people and what have you. Not forget people, but I mean forget that certain podcasts have actually happened and certain things have happened and what have you. So yeah, Callum and Jakester, he come on for a quiz just before Christmas against CW Davis, and yeah, quite a few people. So yeah, but again, literally the amount of time and effort that we've all put into doing these podcasts, the 300 and I believe 30-ish we've done now over the past 4 years, a majority of which have been exclusive to Facebook. Granted, there are a few on Spotify. It's not been updated for fucking ages. But yeah, and then there have been some that have been exclusive to here on YouTube and what have you. But a majority of them have been literally on Facebook because we have mainly been predominantly a Facebook-based podcast. And I just need to figure out how to get everything downloaded and put somewhere for people to keep viewing. Because there are some that I go back to quite regularly. There are wrestlers who are still to this day who have been on the podcast previously who are still continuously sharing their appearances on the Nerdic Pro podcast to their personal Facebook page as well as their wrestling sort of public page as well, which is great. Hot Stuff is still continuously sharing his stuff, and it's been over 2 years since we did the two-parter together. And he's still literally about 2-3 days ago sharing, and yet he shares at least twice a month. Shares both his appearances here on the Nerdic Pro podcast. And it's good to still have an archive of podcasts as well. I don't just want to keep the interviews. I want to keep everything because, everything has taken time. It's taken planning. It's taken, me thinking, and everyone here on the Nerdic Pro podcast thinking, like the team and what are you thinking? Right, what are we going to do? What are we going to say? What's the main sort of focus going to be? Some podcasts literally take over an hour to plan, sometimes a couple of hours. Literally, me, when I'm reviewing shows, especially recently for a Pro Wrestling Noah show that I was watching a couple of days ago, I was literally only watching that because of the podcast. So I'm using that, that was something like 2.25 hours, I think the show was. So that's 2.25 hours out of my day that I'm using for the podcast. And then it's pausing the show, writing down notes, and after a big spot had happened and this and the other. So it's taking more time because I'm starting continuously to do to write notes to prep for the podcast. And then when it comes to interviews, I wanted to get in as much information as possible ready for said interview. As much information about the person or people that I have on, just so I'm not there sat there looking like a complete twat, and save interviews being 15 minutes. I'd rather interviews be, especially without the bigger names and the veterans of wrestling and the veterans of whatever sort of industry that they're in. I'd rather it be as long as possible to give the people watching more content to watch. Do you know what I mean? So again, that's me watching videos. That's me reading articles. That's me reading blogs and this, that, and the other, and fucking listening to maybe other podcasts that they've done previously. Watching matches, watching other bits, but watching shows they've been on, just get as much info of the person as possible. Anyways, so as I say, the reason why we're on, it's literally taken me fucking 20 minutes to explain why we're on here full time now. But it's literally because Facebook, Meta are being divs and deleting Facebook Live videos over the age of 30 days. As of the end of this month, I've thankfully managed to extend ours until the 30th of August, just to literally give us some extra time to get things, sorted, just so everything doesn't get deleted and all that. Because the amount of time that's been spent on everything, I think it would just be a massive waste to let all that go and what have you. So yeah. Anyways. So today I'm here to speak about what I managed to watch of last night's Friday Night Smackdown. Kmart Promotions, the wrestling show that I was refereeing on last Friday. It's my 5th or 6th show in the space of 5 weeks. So yeah, like the 6th show. So yeah, like the 6th show in 5 weeks, but the 5th show that I was refereeing on because I was ring crew in the first one for a deathmatch show down in Braintree, down in Essex, and yeah. Anyways, so yeah, and then Pro Wrestling Noah's Sunny Voyage from the 9th of May 2025. I'm just gonna have a quick drink quickly. I've literally spent fucking 20 minutes yabbering on about fucking random crap. So yeah, hang on. Anyways, so all in all, well, I'm going to start off with Noah's Sunny Voyage, as that's how I've started off this, my notes and what have you. Literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and a quarter full pages worth of notes just for one show. I don't think I've ever had that many notes for any podcast ever. And then when you include Pro Wrestling 01 that I watched, the one that I'm in the process of watching, but I'll review that at a later date. But yeah, the one I had in that, as well as the last night's SmackDown, that turns into 6.5 pages. Fuck me, I watch a very uncopious and very unhealthy amount of wrestling. I need to get a life. Right, so yeah, so it was a 7-match. So Pro Wrestling Noah Sunny Voyage. Well, just to point out, I've not actually watched the full show of SmackDown, so last night's SmackDown, as of yet. I'll probably review that in full next week. So yeah, back here on YouTube. But yeah, so it was a 7-match card featuring a tag team match between Muhammad Yone and Hajime Ohara, facing Amakusa and Junta Miyawaki. There was another tag team match between Eita and Super Crazy versus Shuhei Taniguchi and Black Mansour. There was a singles match between Masaka Tamaya and Atsushi Kotoge. There was I think this was a 6-man tag match between Yohei Hayata and Daiki Orashima, taking on Naomichi Marufuji and the GHC Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Champions. Obviously, Hayata is the GHC Junior Heavyweight Champion. We've got Naomichi Marufuji, Dragon Bane, and Alpha Wolf, who are the GHC Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Champions, in a 6-man tag match. I remember seeing that Naomichi Marufuji came out in a Tiger Mask persona. So whether or not he's there repping Tiger Mask, but I think that New Japan still have Tiger Mask, like the rights to it. So we also saw another 6-man tag match between Keno, the GHC Heavyweight Tag Team Champions, Keno and Oka Sasaki, teaming with former WWE star as Hideo Watami of Kenta versus Manabu Soya, Yuko Kikuchi, and a gentleman who I've shared the ring with, that I've refereed, former WWE UK star Saxon Huxley. And then we also saw another tag team match, Tetsuya Endo and Owada-san versus Takashi Sugiura. Takashi Sugiura. Sorry, I lost where the fact was. So yeah, a tag team match between Tetsuya Endo and Owada-san teaming against Takashi Sugiura and Kazuyuki Fujita. And then the main event was a 6-man tag match. Taishi Ozawa, Daga, and Tadasuke were teaming against Kaito Kiyomiya, Alejandro, and Kai Fujimura. Overall, I thought it was a really good show. I always say, Pro Wrestling Noah put on some great matches, put on some great shows. Some of my favorite matches of the past sort of 20, 25 years that they've been about have literally come from Pro Wrestling Noah. I think the matches that Mitsuharu Misawa put on back in the mid 2000s before he unfortunately passed away. Keno, again Kazuyuki Fujita, all the other fucking legends. Kaito Kiyomiya, Keno, the feud that they've had has been fucking incredible. The matches that they've had, and good to see Saxon Huxley on this show. He's a former GHC heavyweight tag team champion alongside Timothy Thatcher, who again is ex-WWE of Imperium, Ring Camp. But yeah, Saxon Huxley, I've refereed a match of his previously at CXW against Jack Landers in a Ladders of Death match, death match show that I was at refereeing for back in November. I believe it was down in Braintree, down in Essex. Anyway, so match number one. I've got all the notes here. So match number one was a tag match, as I said, between Muhammad Yone and Hajime Ohara versus Amakasa and Junta Miyawaki. So Junta and Hajime start. There was a waist lock to Hajime Ohara, several waist lock submissions between them. There was a kickback to Junta. Junta reverses to the pin. Drop kicks Junta to Hajime Ohara. So it was sort of like a back and forth sort of tag match between both teams. It was really good. In terms of the Salah Star ratings, I don't really do this anymore. Again, there are Salah Star ratings podcasts as well on top of that. I rated this 3 out of 5 stars. Who ended up winning? So it was Amakasa and Junta Miyawaki, I believe it was. So yeah, who ended up winning? Match number 2. So Super Crazy and Super Crazy and Aita versus Shuhei Taniguchi and Black Mansour, I think his name is. I personally have never actually seen Mansour, I think his name is, in a match before. So I was very, very green into what to expect out of him. But yeah, seemed like a very good character, seemed like a very good wrestler. Can't complain with that. So Super Crazy. So I've literally got, give or take, about 3/4 of a page worth of notes just on this one match, right? So Super Crazy and Taniguchi start. Several wrist locks and teasing of tag partners whilst in waist locks and submissions. Both teams tag clean. Aita takes the ride and comes to take like a load of blows. Taniguchi comes into the ring, grabs Aita, and does a few bits and pieces to him. So the sort of like important stuff. Black Mansour, Shuhei Taniguchi gives Black Mansour a clothesline, Super Crazy. Gives Black Mansour like one as well and what have you, and Yeah, it's again overall quite a hard hitting match. I thought there was more of a story in this tag match than what there was in the opening match. Yeah, because you got like Muhammad Jonah, like with his afro and like his like little mini light things that he carries to the ring. You know, he's more of like a comedic sort of character now. You know, like he's like he's a multi-time GHC heavyweight tag team champion. I think done a few bits and pieces for Old Japan in the past as well. But yeah, like he's more of like a comedic sort of persona now and what have you. But even still, like I think that Aita and Tuma Crazy, Shuhei Taniguchi, and Black Manta had put on sort of better story in this tag match than what Muhammad Yone, Hanjimi Ohara, Amakusa, and Shunto Miyawaki did. So yeah. Anyways, match number 3 was Masaka Tamaya versus Atsushi Kotoge. This one was a bit of a short match, from what I remember. It started off with some submission technical start. Kotoge throws Masaka Tamaya. Just keeping this on because I've got YouTube loaded with a white screen. Just so I can read the notes properly. So yeah. What was I saying? So yeah. So match number 3, Masaka Tamaya versus Atsushi Kotoge, who's recently just celebrated 20 years as a wrestler. At a Noah show, I believe it was like the Budokan, the Nippon Budokan. So I think it was there. Like, it looks like similar to the Budokan. But anyways, submission technical start. Kotoge throws Masa out the ring. Slide kick out. Brings back inside for a Hurricanrana off the top rope. Pin, kick out at 2. Splash, kick out at 2. Goes in for another one, kick out at 2. Kotoge takes Masa into the corner with a kick to the face. One of those sort of like jump kicks that you sort of do when you're like your opponent's in the corner. And whatever, like, you give them like a bit of like a knee to the face, sort of type of thing. Where was I? That's not right. Kick to the face, straight in for a pin, and yeah, so they get into a spot where he runs the ropes. Like he sort of leaves Masaka Tamaya there to like run the ropes and like do like a bit of like a clothesline sort of move, only to be stopped by Masaka Tamaya. To give him like a clothesline down. There's a bulldog from Masaka Tamaya to a backdrop into a pin. What else? Fucking hell. So yeah, Atsushi Kotoge sort of, again, back and forth, bits and bobs between them. Kotoge does a front roll, like a front sort of roll thing through the second ropes, like he jumps like through the second ropes into like a little mini sort of like roly-poly sort of thing, and turns it into like a splash whilst Masaka Tamaya's on the floor. Again, sort of back and forth into a big line for Masaka Tamaya, into the pin, kick out 2. Kotoge gives like a few more moves into like a back body slam, pin, kick out 2, and then the finish was a back angle slam from Masaka Tamaya to Atsushi Kotoge, which was the finish. So going for the pin for the win. 1, 2, 3. Masaka Tamaya ends up winning. Decent match. I rated it 3 out of 5 stars. And the match number 4, I believe, was a bit of like a long review as well. So yeah, again, just sort of straightforward, sort of cheating from who the hell was the match? So yeah, like sort of like straightforward sort of cheating. So yeah, so this match was a 6-man tag between Yohei Hayata and Daiki Onishima, taking on Naomichi Marufuji and the junior heavyweight tag team champions of Dragon Bane and Alpha Wolf. Again, this was sort of more sort of playing towards Yohei Hayata and Daiki Owatsima sort of being sort of heels and what have you, like in the match, trying to keep Marufuji and Dragon Bane and Alpha Wolf out of the ring, etc. So like, there's a fair bit of that. All in all, again, great match. So the finish, I don't know what I got. I put Daiki Inaba instead of Daiki Owasada in my notes, but when I was writing down the matches to begin with, it was fucking Daiki Owasada, but I put fucking Daiki Inaba instead in the actual notes. But yeah, where's my pen? I'll have that changed at some point. But yeah, anyways. Yeah, so it was like a bit of Alpha Wolf gives Daiki Owadison a pop-up powerbomb, does like a wolf call and botches, giving Daiki a knee, like a high knee for like a pinfall victory. Really good six-man tag, I thought. And it was good to see Naomichi Marufuji repping the Tiger Mask gimmick. So yeah, that was great. I personally rated this 3 3/4 out of 5. Match number 6 and match number 7. Fucking hell. Literally, I didn't realise I could fucking write so much. Hang on. I'm literally getting loads of it because I've shared this link for YouTube on like, a few groups on Facebook, like a few like podcast promotional groups on Facebook. I'm getting like a load of spam accounts message being like, oh yeah, I'm a podcasting. I'm one of them. I am a professional podcast promote, not promoter, promote. So yeah, grammar's very fucking good. I've literally just had a notification from it, and yeah, so that's good, that, isn't it? So they're a professional podcast promote. So not a promoter. What are they? The promoting tool, or well, I ain't got a fucking clue. But anyways, again, do you want to promote your podcast? No, I fucking do not. Not with you, anyways. Jesus Christ. You know, I fucking run this podcast on a fucking zero budget. You know, I've not got the fucking finances to, you know, promote. And obviously know it's a fucking scam and a spam shit, but hey ho. But yeah, anyways, match number, what was I doing? Match number 5. All right. Was a 6-man tag between Keno, Ulka Sasaki, and former WWE star of Hideo Watanabe, Kenta versus Manabu Soya, Yuko Kikuchi, and a gentleman who I have refereed before in wrestling, Mr. Saxon Huxley, former WWE star. So, what did I put? Match number 5. I'm getting fucking it. Oh, that's an email from. Didn't realise I was fucking still subscribed to that. But yeah. Yeah. Anyways, so match number 5. Excuse me. Malibu Sawyer and Kenta start into like a lockup. Pushes Kenta into the rope. Clean break. Head back. So like a headlock from Malibu Sawyer by Kenta. Kenta tries to tag Keno, but Keno's like, no, like you can do it. You know, like carry on. You know, like you're doing great, sort of thing. You know, so like he sort of backs away and comes like a bit further up the apron, more towards the hard cam, yeah. So yeah, so yeah, And again, this was more of a sort of like a story-based tag match. All in all, having back and forth crap, sort of heelish sort of shenanigans, really like, oh ref, come here, whilst like the opponents in the corner getting like the shit kicked out of them by like the heel wrestlers, rah rah rah. So far, match of the night. Fucking like I thought, like this is the thing. I think that you've got 6 of the fucking best guys on the fucking roster for Noah here. Keno, Orca Sasaki, Kenta, Malibu Sawyer, Saxon Huxley, and Yuko Kikuchi. Fucking great guys. Again, previously in the last match, you had Yohei Hayata, Daiki Orishima, Miyabuchi Marufuji, who I think is fucking one of the best wrestlers on the fucking planet. And Dragon Bane and Alpha Wolf, 2 Lucha Libre sensations, who are in Japan. They've been out in Japan a while. Fucking great little combination they are. And they've managed to pick up tag team gold out in Japan, which is fucking great, So yeah, great tag team match. Can't complain. Definitely match of the night so far. Match number 6 was a tag team match, so like a normal 2-on-2 tag match. Tetsuya Endo and Awadison. So what I've said Awadison before, I actually mean Daiki Orishima. I do apologise if I've said Awadison before. Tetsuya Endo and Awadison versus Takashi Sugiura and Kazuyuki Fujita. Takashi Sugiura, he faced God, fucking look at his name now. I fucking, brain's gone completely fucking blank. Masato Tanaka, that's it. In Real 01 last year for Masato Tanaka's 30th year anniversary as a pro wrestler. You got Kazuyuki Fujita, again, legend, absolute legend of the business. It's match 6. So, Sugiura extends a sportsmanship hand out to Tetsuya Endo. However, Endo backs away. Match begins. Match starts with mat-based headlock submissions, lock-up, onto the ropes. Endo backs off willingly. Sugiura offers again a handshake. However, Endo smacks his hand away and grabs Sugiura by the testicles, and Fujita and Awadison then tag in. Fujita, a few chops, tags into Sugiura, headlock on Awadison. Awadison kicks Fujita off the apron, whilst Tetsuya Endo gets to work on Takashi Sugiura, whilst Awadison has the referee's back turned. Endo has Tetsuya Endo tags in. Few moves on Sugiura. Pin 1, 2, kick out 2. I'm literally just reading off my notes here. If I sound boring, then I do apologise, but I'm on the spectrum. Awadison uses some of his wrist tape to strangle Takashi Sugiura. The referee sees him using his wrist tape and stops it. Endo tags in, uses Sugiura gains a mini control over the match. Tetsuya Endo tries his best again. However, bits and pieces happen, and again, really sort of back and forth action. It was Takashi Sugiura and Kazuyuki Fujita winning. And again, it was a running knee to the face from Kazuyuki Fujita. From Takashi Sugiura to Awadison. and an angle slam from Takashi Sugiura to Iwata for a pinfall victory. Overall, really good tag match. I'm rating it a Salastar rating of 3.5 out of 5. So, match number 7 was the main event of the evening, which was Taishi Ozawa, Daga, and Tadasuke facing off against Kaito Kiyomiya, Alejandro, and Kai Fujimura. I think all these fucking guys are absolutely fantastic. You got Kaito Kiyomiya, who literally put on spectacle after spectacle after spectacle after spectacle with Keno for the GHC heavyweight tag heavyweight tag titles. Not the fucking tag titles. The GHC heavyweight title in Noah. Even in matches where neither of them were the GHC champion, just putting on fucking great matches with Keno. Kaito Kiyomiya is still the youngest ever GHC heavyweight champion in the title's history. So fucking great, really. So yeah, and then Kai Fujimura again. You know, he's not exactly old. I think he's still in his 20s. Kaito Kiyomiya again in his 20s. Got a fucking long ass career like ahead of them both. Alejandro again, luchador, great. Daga from Mexico as well. He's fucking brilliant. Tadasuke, brilliant. Taishi Ozawa, brilliant. Again, I can't say I've ever seen any of these 6 men, Taishi Ozawa, Daga, Tadasuke, Kaito Kiyomiya, Alejandro, or Kai Fujimura, have a bad match, and I've literally seen no end of fucking matches on Wrestle Universe of theirs, so it was a jump start from Tadasuke, Taishi Ozawa. No, it wasn't. Was it Daga? Was it? Was it Daga? No. I just fucking realised that. Was it Daga? It was fucking Yoshitatsu, wasn't it? I literally just fucking remembered that I fucking forgot to change it in like my card notes to begin with, because like what I do is like I write the card down, and then I write notes. So, like, I write match 1, Joe Schmo versus, so in this instance, match 1, Muhammad Yone and Hajime Ohara versus Amakasa and Junta Miyawaki. Match 2, in this instance, Eita and Super Crazy against Shuhei Taniguchi and Black Manta, yada, yada, yada. And then I do that for the whole show, and then I just write 1, put it in like a little like bubble sort of thing, and then write my review of the match. I didn't actually realise until they come out doing their entrances, that's not Daga, that's not Daga, that's not Daga. And I'm like, it's fucking Yoshitatsu, wasn't it? And so it ended up being fucking Yoshitatsu, not fucking Daga. And again, I fucking forgot just now that it wasn't fucking Daga. But so I've written it in like the match notes, not in the fucking card notes, saying that it was fucking Yoshitatsu. And so anyways, it was a jump start from Tadasuke, Taishi Ozawa, and Yoshitatsu. All 6 men battle outside the ring, in and amongst the crowd and the fans. Taishi Ozawa brings Kaito Kiyomiya to the ring, does a backflip, and sort of does like a little mini pose laying there, like next to Kaito Kiyomiya. Kaito sort of like comes around and he goes, "That's the same," sort of facing facing Taishi Ozawa. So again, it's a great match, absolutely great match. There's a lot of like high flying stuff. I'm not a huge fan of like the high flying, flippy nippy scrambled egg sort of shit. But I think a lot of the guys in Noah know how to do it properly. If it's done properly, I don't mind it. But when it literally comes to like every fucking move is, jumping off the fucking top rope, fucking front flips, back flips, jumping through the fucking ropes, fucking front flips, back flips, fucking horseshoe shit. Do you know what I mean? You know, it just becomes fucking boring after a while because you know it becomes like quite like repetitive. Do you know what I mean? Whereas these guys, you know, so Kaito Kiyomiya, Kai Fujimura, prime examples, fucking prime examples, right? They can work the high flying flippy dippy scrambled egg shit, but they can also do the mat based technical style. They can do the hard hitting heavyweight style. You know, they can do that. They can do all that. You know, so yeah, like they can sort of work around them all. And then Yoshitatsu again is another one. He could be fucking high flying. Tadasuke is another one where you know like they can you know do all the fucking high flying flippy nippy scrambled egg fucking horseshoe fucking shit. You know, and yeah, and like they can make it look good. You know what I mean? You know, whereas you get like quite a few guys, you know, like the Young Bucks, who it's literally every fucking move. He's and whatever, and like a few matches in before WWE took over in AAA and CMLL, where it's literally fucking every move is high flying, flippy shit, you know. And I think it just becomes far too repetitive. Do you know what I mean? Whereas the guys in Noah, you know, can do it properly. You know, like they can, where it's literally not every fucking move is you know them doing a fucking moonsault, them doing you know fucking front flips, fucking you know looking like they're a fucking reject from the fucking all like the acrobatic side of things out of the fucking like Olympics. Do you know what I mean? You know, it just looks fucking boring after a while. Do you know what I mean? That you know, this is fucking 16 years of me being a fucking wrestling fan now, fucking coming up, but you know, hey. But yeah, again, overall fantastic match. You know, I think people like Kai Fujimura, Kaito Kiyomiya, etc. I think should all be on a more international scale. Yoshitatsu again, great. He's been around for a few years now. The winners of the main event were Kaito Kiyomiya, Alejandro, and Kai Fujimura. You know, this for me personally was match of the night. And yeah, like if you've got Wrestle Universe, if you haven't got Wrestle Universe, I do very much recommend you go and subscribe to it. If you're here in the UK, it is £8.99 per month to subscribe to. And yeah, you know, I think, you know, you've got companies like Pro Wrestling Noah, you've got DDT, you've got Michinoku Pro, you've got Real 01, you've got a few, you've got Ganbear Pro Wrestling, you've got a few women's promotions, so Marigold, Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling, and a couple others as well. And like the amount of wrestling on there, I think for £8.99 a month, you know, I think is fucking dirt cheap. Absolutely dirt cheap. So that's for UK viewers, it's £8.99 a month, and for Japanese viewers, it's 1,298 yen per month, and that equivalates to whatever in American dollars, whatever in Canadian dollars, whatever in Australian dollars, and whatever your country currency is. I understand that being a Brit, you know, we use English sterling, pounds and pence. It's £8.99 a month. Like originally, before it was literally because obviously different like rates. So like the conversion rates of money would change constantly, and it would literally be in British money, whatever it would be at that point in time, like whatever it was like that day, like that moment in time. So before it was less than like 1,000 yen because it was literally just Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling, Noah, Ganbear, and DDT on there. Now they've got Real 01, Michinoku Pro, they've got fucking Marigold and a couple of other promotions on there as well. So obviously they've now got more companies on. They've put the price up, which is understandable. You know, a lot more content. You know, they're gonna need more ways to fund it. Yada yada yada. So yeah, even still, £8.99 a month. So they've now got like a base price for the UK viewers, which is £8.99 a month. Which even still, I don't think that's expensive in the fucking slightest, the amount of fucking wrestling that's on there. And, I'm a fucking big Noah fan. I've seen bits and pieces of like Nerdic Pro. I've fucking watched a fair bit of that over lockdown and over COVID times and whatever, and like Real 01. And I've seen bits and pieces of them like on YouTube. Never had a bad word to say about them because I've never really watched a lot of them. Do you know what I mean? It's literally just when it pops up and like if someone that I know, like a wrestler that I like and follow is wrestling for them in a match, like Marufuji's done something that I've seen on Wrestling Universe. I'll be watching that show later on. After I've of course finished the Masato Tanaka their 30th anniversary show. Later, I'll be watching the show that or a show that Marufuji did for Michinoku Pro. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I'm unfortunately going to have to cut this podcast short as I need to get somewhere within the next few minutes. I will be back tomorrow to review SmackDown, talk a bit more about Noah, talk a bit more about Kmart Promotions. That I was meant to have done that, but I literally started off the first 20 minutes of this podcast, the first 20, 25 minutes of this podcast explaining why we're transitioning onto YouTube full-time and coming away from Facebook. There will still be content on Facebook. Don't you worry, there will still be content on Facebook. We're not completely coming off Facebook. Our Facebook page will still be there. There will still be some sort of content on our Facebook page. We're not completely leaving Facebook. We will still be there. Don't worry. It's literally just the podcast, our live podcasts will be coming off within the next 3 months. So, yeah. Anyways, yeah, as I say, I'll be back tomorrow for part 2 of this podcast to literally speak about SmackDown, last night's SmackDown in full. Depending on if I have time, I'll be watching this week's Raw. I'll be reviewing the full Masato Tanaka's 30th anniversary show where he faced Shuhei Taniguchi in the main event from last July, I believe it was. And yeah, so anyway, so my name has been, as per usual, Bobby effing Salastar. I hope to be seeing you all tomorrow. And yeah, so it'll probably be similar sort of time, 6:30, probably 7 o'clock start. And yeah, I shall be seeing you all there. Thank you all very much for watching, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people on the Nerdic Pro podcast. And I shall be seeing you all later. Goodbye.